So then the idea that we looked at when we were looking at processes was you take some powder, it has good flow properties. So now you try to create a shape, you injection mold a shape, and then you remove the polymer. You want to see what happens when that occurs. Then you want to sinter the materials, and you begin to connect the particles together. You have some grain growth, and then finally you have a dense part which has some shrinkage. What we were looking for was if you go from purely microscale powder to you going to a bimodal micro nano mixture, because you have higher packing density, can you take advantage of the improved rheology and get lower sintering shrinkage as a result of these additives? So we went ahead and tried to do some debinding. There were some differences over there. We saw rheological differences already. But then the next thing that we looked at was, how does this material sinter? So this is just a microscale aluminum nitride. We added yttrium oxide, to form a liquid phase. You know that alumina and yttria form a glass. So we used about 5% yttria. The yttria we used were nanoparticles. One thing about nanoparticles is, as you reduce the size, it turned out that the melting point gets depressed because of the increased surface activity. Okay, so at when you push the materials to the nanoscale, the liquid forms at a lower temperature. We wanted to see if the sintering additive was nanoscale and the liquid forms at a lower temperature, can you sinter the material at a lower temperature? Okay, that was one thing we wanted to look at. Then we said, okay, if we add some nanoparticles of aluminum nitride to that mix, will that go ahead and reduce the sintering temperature further? You'll begin to see that there are some interesting formations such as nanorods over here. You know, this is about 2 micron in dimension. You can't see it very clearly on the screen. So the same 2 microns over here is what you end up seeing over here. And you can see that these rods that are beginning to develop are in the nanoscale. When we did a chemical analysis of just the regions with the nanorods, we found that it had yttria and alumina as the constituents. So that is the liquid phase forming, and when it is then beginning to solidify, it seems to, for some reason, make these kinds of rod-like structures. Okay. With the micro nano aluminum nitride, we ended up sintering this material unto the point where around 1500 or so it begins to show a good amount of densification. You can see individual particles, and there are some necks, interconnections that are beginning. And there's maybe some dissolution of the aluminum nitride. That's possible. That's a good thing. Okay. Main thing was this nanorod that we could see in the micro scale, we could not see when in the micro nano mixtures. And it is possible that the capillary effects end up holding the liquid very tightly and limit some of the reprecipitation. Either that, or a lot of aluminum nitride in the nanoscale begins to dissolve easily into the liquid, and so maybe some of that nanorod formation is suppressed. Okay. But the main thing was liquid phase was forming at a temperature that was about 100 degrees lower than what anyone has reported earlier. Okay, so we could see it at 1500, and maybe it occurs a little bit earlier, and that's some thermal analysis that we have to do to find that out. Okay, so some of that has been appeared this year in Ceramics International, and this is what it looks like as a fully dense material at 1650 degrees centigrade. And for that type of sintering around 1650, you end up having a shrinkage of about 14% or something like that. This is the literature values. Typically, you end up getting this is our study over here, and these are all the literature values for aluminum nitride. And very commonly, right, you have much lower volume fraction as far as packing goes, because no one has studied the micro nano combination before, and correspondingly no one has also tried to use nanoscale yttria for densification. As a result, most of the places which talk about sintering talk about at least 100 or 200 degrees more in temperature. So we are sintering at a lower temperature, and we are getting lower shrinkage because of the higher initial volume fraction of powders. So what we found was the agglomerates could break down in the twin screw extruder when we mixed it, and that allowed us to get the very high volume fraction. We have to do additional experiments in this region to understand a lot of the, but you can see from this microstructure of the fractured surface that it is 99+% dense. There's almost no porosity over there. So some benefits of working with nanoparticles. You can sinter them at a lower temperature. Okay. If you use a nanoscale liquid forming aid, the sintering occurs at a lower temperature and then you get some nanorods. But mainly if you use a combination of microscale and nanoscale, you can have lower sintering shrinkage and still get full density. Okay. So higher volume fraction leads to lower shrinkage compared to conventional materials. So that was an interesting result. The next question that we tried to look at was, okay, so you can have a combination of a micro and nano. What if you get mostly something closer to just a few hundred, just about 100 nanometers? And so we tried to use silicon nitride in that case. And we tried to use yttria, which was about roughly 30 nanometers in particle size as the additive, aluminum nitride about 50 nanometers, and we combined about the 120 nanometer silicon nitride with about 20 nanometer silicon nitride. So we tried to push the limits. First we had done about a 0.8 micron aluminum nitride with about a 50 nanometer aluminum nitride. We said, okay, in silicon nitride we were able to find about 120 nanometer silicon nitride. We tried to do the same bimodal experiment with about 20 nanometers of silicon nitride. The idea of using, does anyone know what a UAV is? Unmanned aerial vehicle. Okay, so drones is a common term that's used for surveillance, used for all kinds of things. The lighter the engine, the longer the drone can fly. Also, the higher the energy at which the fuel can burn. So this is energy efficiency plotted as a function of temperature, and you can see the higher the temperature at which the engine operates, the higher the fuel efficiency. To be able to then operate the engine at a higher temperature, you have to go from aluminum, which is typically used as a material for constructing the engine. If we were to go to silicon nitride, which has good thermal shock resistance, it has good chemical stability at high temperatures, it has good high temperature creep, and it has good wear resistance as well, and it has high thermal conductivity. We were trying to see if silicon nitride engines can be made for drones, and then you can have engines operating at a higher temperature. This work was published in the Journal of Materials in this year, work done by Jürgen Lenz, who is now in Germany. And mainly the idea is we wanted to get higher fuel efficiency with a higher operating temperature. Silicon nitride has a density of close to about 3.3 grams per cc, slightly more than aluminum, but definitely lower than a stainless steel, for instance. Okay, slightly less than half. Okay, so you can have it lightweight, and if you have higher fuel efficiency, that means the drone can fly for a longer time, or you can have less fuel, and so it can be lighter, and so it can fly higher. Right? So the thing is, ceramic engines with silicon nitride have been explored for almost 40 years. They tried it for automobiles. It was a big problem because you are trying to make very large engine blocks, and you are having a very high volume manufacturing. You needed to make millions of parts. Small defects or loss of precision could just kill the whole commercial viability of the process. People looked at it for aircraft engines as well, and the liability over there is even more. What allowed us to explore it for UAVs is, now you're making an engine that's about this small as opposed to an engine that's big, And so it's easier to control component size precision in this range for ceramics than in this range. And so we thought between the part being smaller and there being no passengers to sue in case the engine breaks down, this would be a good fit to try out, okay? This is one part of the engine component that, again, we went ahead, made the mixture, measured the different mixture properties, put it into a mold flow simulation platform, and looked for the viability of being able to fill it uniformly. And we found that we could fill it without a whole lot of defects. And so you remember when we were talking about mixture properties, what were in addition to viscosity, shear rate, temperature, what were some other properties that we had to measure in order to be able to do these simulations? Temperature, volume, behavior, right? How the shrinkage occurs in the mold as it is cooling down. Okay, that was one property. What was another property that we were looking at in terms of thermal properties? Thermal conductivity, so how it loses heat in a mold cavity, and also heat storage, right? So heat capacity. So those are some kinds of properties that we measured to be able to, again, like we showed some examples for microchannel structures. Use that for showing this. We have now gone to the stage where we can now build die cavities after looking at different configurations of part design and so on. And now we also gone ahead and looked to make sure that the mix that we have created can be sintered successfully and get good properties. We have quantified what the shrinkage is, and now we can make an oversized mold to be able to make a component like this. But now you're beginning to understand that you find out how much powder you can fit into a polymer. Then you look for all the properties that you can measure. You put that into a simulation platform. You see if you can make the part or not. Then you make some test parts and you sinter them and see if you can make it correctly, what the properties are. And then you scale up with a mold, things like that. And so